standing
Okay,
up.
as you know, we have some first-time guests to the Storytime with the Legends stage. This is Doug Renfro. Doug, I could never tell the story of your business. Can you please tell the world who are you and what do you do?
The elevator pitch, we're an 83-year-old family business, third generation. We evolve constantly. The products now that we make, my grandfather didn't know were products. My father hasn't eaten half the things we make now. And you can't exist by doing the same thing over and over, unfortunately. I really hope that was true, but it's not. So we make acidified condiments, and we have our own brand. We make a lot of other brands.
Whoa. That was way too fast. You make what?
It's something you probably say all the time, acidified condiments.
Oh yeah, acidified condiments.
So
I just learned how to say that fast.
Salsa, barbecue sauce, cheese sauce in a jar, bean dip in a jar. We make a lot of wing sauces. We do food service, so you many times are having our product and you don't know it at a restaurant. I've had people sheepishly tell me the brand of salsa that they buy, and I have to wink and go, "That's okay."
I don't even know who they are.
People who make that are really nice people.
I asked everybody to come with a story to tell, and Doug picked a story about a particular customer, and I'm going to shut up because I just want to hear the story, Doug.
I call it that morning that our biggest customer filed Chapter 11, which is always a great day, when you start. And the story has multiple aspects. We had a customer who had grown to be 35% of our business, and Jay, of course, just had a heart attack hearing that. I didn't know Jay then. But how you get in these situations is the customer is tiny, and they organically grow, and most of them don't, so you're thrilled when one does. And you look up one day, and if you stop their growth, in our business, what you're saying is, now I'm going to give you to my competitor so they can make more of your product. And together, now you're going to have two about the same size. And the competitor one day is going to point out, you could save a lot of money by not having to combine these orders together and do the order picking at a third-party warehouse. I'll just make everything for you. And that's true. It just shifts the danger to that vendor. And we were a little selfish, and so we end up with this customer having 35% of our business. And it's a family business, so I would say my cousins and I would get excited about the accounts receivable being 120 days, and Gen 2 would give Gen 3 permission to send a stern letter, we're not going to make any more orders if you get 1 day later. The second we try to enforce it, Gen 2 would be like, you can't do that to them. They're doing it to us, but... So you get this, and then of course, if they hit about 180 days, then Gen 2 is like, I thought you were watching the receivables. So fortunately, murder's still illegal in Texas, and it goes both ways. They could have killed me many times. But we look up, and the customer, they've been getting deeper and deeper, and it's getting untenable. So they call and say, hey, we want to come see you guys. I'm going to bring a attorney friend, nothing formal, don't worry. And I don't know why more people don't know how to use Google, but I sat my butt down and Googled that guy. All he does is bankruptcy. So I send it to my banker and my law firm. They get me the biggest bulldog bankruptcy attorney in Fort Worth, my banker, and they walk in the door, and I found out it's a small world. The bankruptcy attorneys all know each other. It's like, hey, Bob, hey, Ed. And my customer goes, he can tell. He thought he was going to, I don't know what he thought he was going to do, that we were idiots. But anyway, things progress, and it was a situation where had we not been able to keep doing business, it would have been really harmful to us and annoying to us, and it would have been a big loss. They would have killed them because we made everything that they sold. So we had more leverage than it appeared. And we went for the bankruptcy court, and we worked out an agreement. And this is why you don't mind paying an attorney $100,000 in a case like this, because he worked out an 8-year agreement. For 8 years, all their customers have to pay into a bank account that only my cousin and I control. It's an escrow account. Every time a customer pays, we pay ourselves first. We pay part of the debt back. We pay interest. We insisted on paying their freight broker and their brokers on the sales side because we knew they'd screw that up. And federal freight, it's like 7 days you don't pay, you're done. It's very regulated. So we needed to make sure their product kept selling or it would kill the whole deal. And then there was a $50,000 escrow amount, a reserve fund. If there was any money left over, twice a month, we'd wire it to them. Over 8 years, and this is public information, over 8 years, we got $1 million back, plus the interest, plus we had 7 figures of business, plus we grew them, and we're just now ending the second 3-year renewal of that program. And so you would have thought, Well, I will tell you, unfortunately, we didn't get this resolution in the 4 minutes it took me to tell you that. It took like several months, and I had giant wavy golden hair. I would wake up just palpitations, 3 in the morning routinely, and tell my wife, I think we could move in with your parents. I don't think it'd be that bad. It was really, really stressful, but it worked out really well. But in a million years, I would not have come up with that. And at one point, the debtors, I guess we were the debtors, the creditors, whoever had loaned them the money stupidly, tried to bluff us outside the courthouse, and it annoyed my uncle. He was a man of high integrity and principle, and the fact that they said they weren't sure something he said was true, he's like, fine, we'll walk away. And they're like, no, we're good. We'll do this. And we lived happily ever after.
So what was the consequence if they didn't hold up to the end of the bargain?
They would die. No, they got out of business. Which part?
Well, I mean, what was the leverage component that you had over them? They wanted to stay in business.
Right.
That it?
Yeah, they had no other income source. It was also an entrepreneurial business, so they literally had no other way to make money. So they were going from good 6-figure living to living in a box, which was not favorable.
So how do you get the firsthand knowledge of a customer's profitability and their ability to pay when you're in the middle of a relationship with them? What could you have done possibly differently than letting them keep stringing you along to the point where they're showing up with an attorney?
What we do now is if you're about 3 days past due, you're not getting any more product until you pay that. And if you have a pattern of that, we'll put you 50% up front. And if that doesn't work, you're 100% up front. And that's, of course, 0.1% of the time. But that would have eliminated it. We didn't have the posture because they had gotten to be enough of our business that we didn't feel we could live without them.
What are you putting in that stuff?
Cocaine.
Sounds like crack cocaine.
Cocaine, yeah. Well, it's fire roasted and organic, so that makes it okay.
Oh, man. So your relationship with them, do you ever interact with the principals of that company? How's your relationship?
Well, they blocked my cousin from their server. That's probably, they don't like each other. I get along fine with them. Some days are contentious, some days we're team players, because we make product for most of our competitors and the small, not the big people like the giant corporations, but if you go to Central Market and you see us, the people we're competing with, we make about half those products. So I call it Team Renfro. We're all one big happy family. I tell them, here's what Kroger and Walmart really are serious about. Here's a good broker in Boston. Here's a great way to sell to the military. Because the more they sell, the more we sell. We're all happy. And most customers feel that way.
So when they see this video, are they going to wish you had used their name for the publicity?
No, they're on the border. The cartel might come. No. There's no names. I don't know who it is.
Oh, man. All right. That was Doug's first story. I know he has 100 more.
Thank you.
Now, before you leave, is there any other stories you want to tell? A super short story. If not, we're going to open it up for the next guests.
I think you guys are behind. You should keep going, and I will try to get back to
Doug.
forward.
That's how legends do it.
Thank you, sir.
That's great. Awesome, man. Doug, thank you so much.